To Prince John Internet TV, broadcasting live from the Apple Store in Ala Moana Shopping Center. That, by the way, was an appearance by Pagliacci. Alright, so starting off, here we go. My wife will be like me. I am A, B, and C. Fill in the blanks. I don't like fill in the blanks A, B, and C, and these things I can email to a person that I'm interested in. Let's communicate with each other. I think that the elite are not bad, that we're all in this together. And in other words, let's reason with each other instead of trying to destroy each other or be territorial. Um, we can live simply and don't take much and just make sure that we all have our basic needs met before progressing into unnecessary extravagances and luxuries, and just find gratification in the joy uh, of social interaction and acknowledging each other's presence as opposed to trying to gain a sense of attention to oneself via wearing fancy things or some what I'm suggesting is it's kind of difficult to use money, at least for me. I don't really have that much financial sense, but one thing I do have is a desire to be happy. And I think that if one was to analyze using a scientific approach, do cars or more attractive mates, younger and more attractive than the person make them happier. And if you look at the stats and at people's faces, then in public, then I believe the answer is no. So, number 4, instead of referring to a woman as a hot girl, say, call them in your mind, call them sister. And, change the vibration. In a church, quote unquote, I think that everyone can get a chance to talk. I've found that when I am under pressure, I come up with revelations. Because what I do is I deal with the emotions associated with the circumstance and analyze it and find out logically what's going on. Okay. I think people want smiles, but more sometimes. Sometimes they want reasoning, they want privacy, they want spiritual food, or possibly charity. You know, uh, I've noticed that I think that if I had an all-male, gathering or played, for example, volleyball with all men, that I would have a different feeling as opposed to if it was mixed gender, activities. Uh, it's not that logical to that is something as simple as visualizing brilliant spheres of light and beaming people around you and imagining light flow through you is effective, but for me it's worked. I think that it's impossible to find one's soulmate. That you have to be. It will. She will be presented to me. All right. Now, in regards to the the elders in the community, I think you're not elder in your mind is more important than your body. So if you're elderly in your mind and you're un uh, uninclined to enjoy new things like new foods or places or cultures or music or a lot of times I think a reason that I have a hard time enjoying company of older people is because they have a different outlook on sexuality. They're not inclined to participate in um, sexuality for their whole lives like I am, and they kind of suppress it, and like from a Christian perspective, some don't even are interested, not even interested in masturbation, just to give you a sense of what I'm talking about. So I think sometimes the easiest way to impress myself, and the only way to see myself, is through the future eyes of my mate. What would I want? What would I want my mate to see me as? I want to be responsible for my happiness. Feel free to go to flvto.com, flvto.com, and copy and paste all the URLs for my shows and download them so they're safely kept in the storage in case somehow my YouTube channel gets tampered with. And one of my objectives is to harmonize men with women, and if people are interested in, relationships homosexual, then that's interesting as well. That's great, but let's make sure to make things really, especially within the gay community. You have a lot of casual affairs, and so let's try and, whatever your position is, try and make your ethnicity and your orientation and your lifestyle look good. Even if it's different than other people, if you like different sports, music, etc., type of work ethic, just at least make it look decent to others, and realize that you're representing a group of people, even if you don't intentionally mean to. And the war is in the spiritual realm. So what I'm talking about is things like the Taliban and this war and all this conflict. It's like the enemy's like artificial. I mean, a lot of the conflict is a result of these car bombs. And if you think about it, the bombs are, they could easily be made by the same side, just like in World War II, how the Germans used American shell gasoline. And the Taliban, for example, they burn poppy fields, heroin fields. So it really makes you think, like, who are the American military fighting for? But what we can do is attack people, try to find the source of the problem. Is it selfish Christian Anglo-Saxon Americans or something like that, like people like George Bush? Personally, I think that he's a family man, and that he may be under duress. I mean, I don't think anyone, in some type of authoritative position would, vouch for something like, exploding the 9/11 towers. I heard that the people falling out were, those mannequins and not real people, and it was all staged. I mean, big loud booms were heard before the building started collapsing. The planes hit the sides of the buildings. The building, if it was collapsing from there, would have toppled where the weak part within the plane was. But those buildings are structurally, engineered to withstand, multiple disasters, multiple plane hits, and so on. So bottom line, let's use logic and kindness and unconditional love, just putting it out there, and so we can start to accept each other more and not attack each other. Basically, I'm going to pause it here. We're going to do a part two.